I'm Starborn. Remember, to be a star, you have to shine your own light, follow your own path, and not be afraid of the darkness, because that's when stars shine brightest. If you've been looking at our website, starborninstitute.org, you would already know that the title of tonight's show sounds a little ominous because it is Something is Broken. And the reason why you may be quite aware of something that is broken or hidden or not really quite the way it should be is because on Sunday we are having a full moon at 26 degrees of Virgo. Virgo is the traditional ruler of the 6th house of work and health, and it rules diet and nutrition. It rules mental health as well as physical health, and it rules all occupations that are of service to other people, such as nursing or teaching. And for that reason, Virgo is an analytical sign, very focused on facts or on details. And since there's going to be a lot of light under that full moon in Virgo, this is a time when you may be able to see more details about something, or you may learn more facts about something, and yet something else is still broken. Why? Well, it depends on how you are looking at the planets in the position to the full moon. And under a full moon, we know that the moon is opposed by the sun. The sun is at 26 degrees of Pisces, but Neptune, the ruler of Pisces, is also in that sign. And that simply means, since Neptune is a nebulous planet that can rule creativity or deception, I think that with those two planets in Pisces opposing this full moon in Virgo, that something is really broken. Since Pisces rules all areas of confinement, and it rules hidden things, particularly hidden enemies, or things that we conceal even from ourselves when we're kidding ourselves about something, it simply means that I think upon learning more facts, either this coming weekend or next week, we are going to be able to see where something is broken, or it can be that we are going to be aware of a vital link that is missing right now. Or it can be that upon learning more information, we are able to see somebody who really is a phony, who is something that they have, in other words, they've been pretending to be something that they are not. And so that is possible as well, because there are other things going on. And we have two planets that are now retrograde or going back on their orbits. And that's another reason why we may, upon final review or re-examination, we may learn a few more facts that indicate something is broken, or that there's a little phoniness or deception going on behind the scenes, at least by somebody. And that is because Mars is retrograde in Libra, which rules partnerships, and it's part of a grand cross in cardinal signs. And that simply means that all partnerships are subject to change, particularly contracts. Anything that is signed could be subject to change. Why? Because Saturn in Scorpio is also retrograde, and Scorpio is a fixed financial sign. So it could be that the credit is drying up, or that terms in a loan have changed, or simply that business deals have changed in one way or another. And so as we're learning more details, we can be discovering the real truth, perhaps about an accounting matter, since Virgo rules accounting, and it does have a lot to do with banking. So there can be some banking information that could be rather startling right now. In other words, something that's far different than what we have been led to believe. So you have that to look forward to. There is also the possibility that we can be understanding of our feelings right now, but that we really are going to have to face facts. And that is because, you know, everybody is either going to be judged and be held accountable because they have been doing something really right, or they can be held accountable because the information that they have been giving out is way different than any kind of a record that has been checked or has been verified in one way or another. So I think this is a time when I hope that you have been sticking to the facts, because if you haven't, then something that you've been pretending about or something you've been kidding yourself about is probably going to be illuminated under that full moon in Virgo, and you will have to deal with it in one way or another. All right, what does this mean to all 12 of the sun signs? Well, Aries, for you, I think that since the Sun and Neptune are in Pisces right behind your sun sign, Aries, and they are being challenged by this full moon in Virgo, it can simply be that if you have been sort of pretending about something, or if you've been doing things behind the scenes that you haven't wanted anybody to find out about, and they could be a creative project, for instance, or they can be some sort of a habit that you didn't want people to know that you're involved with, that can be illuminated now, or there can be more facts about that, and you are either going to be a little embarrassed at being caught on something or having some truth revealed that you preferred to keep hidden, or else it can simply be that if you've been doing everything exactly right, maybe now's the time when you'll be getting some recognition for it. So you do have something behind the scenes, I think, that other people haven't known about for a while, that they are going to be able to find out about it now, Aries. And that is why hopefully you're just going to learn to live with the truth about something, or it can be something that you've been hiding even from yourself. In other words, there could be the fact that since Virgo does rule health, that a health problem comes up that you now really have to face rather than ignoring it, which you might have been doing. So this is a time of accountability, and for you it will be something that you'll be accountable for that very few people have known about until now. And that is why I think once the truth is out, then you will deal with it, because you'll have to, Aries, and that's better than hiding anything, because once, even if it's a health problem, once people know about it, then that's how you can make it better. So good luck on that. What does it mean to a Taurus? Well, Taurus, this is a time when I think that it's very fortunate for you that that full moon in Virgo is trining your sun, and Pluto in Capricorn is also trining your sun. And that simply means that you could get some good news about a health matter. Or it can be that you are pleasantly surprised because your bank book is looking a little bit, or your bank account is looking a little bit healthier. There's also the possibility, once again, that your long-term interests in investments or retirement funds are a little healthier than you have thought, and for that reason you may be able to renegotiate some sort of financial terms so that you can have more money up front right now to meet either higher taxes or higher costs of something. And the reason why you would need a little extra money for that is because Saturn in Scorpio is opposing your sun, and it is retrograde. People are having to review their financial statistics right now, or the high cost of interest, or of a loan, or of some sort of debts that have to be renegotiated. But right now, if you are trying to do that, Taurus, I think you're going to be successful at that, and that your mental health can improve as well. And that is because somebody else can be going ahead with their future, and I think that even if you don't like that too much, you will just have to settle for that. And the reason why is that Venus is in Aquarius, it's your ruler, and it is squaring your sun. And so I think somebody else is going to move ahead on their future, but I don't think it really interests you enough to make a move yourself, Taurus. So I think that you can probably, hopefully, wish someone else well as they do advance right now. Whereas for you, I think it is better if you just stay where you are, because you can be very sure and very solidly in place where you are, and that can give you a feeling of comfort. So it's just as well if somebody else advances now instead of you, Taurus, because that way you don't have to change too much. Okay, what does it mean to a Gemini? Well, Gemini, this is a time when I think that you really have to discount an awful lot of what other people are saying. And the reason why is that full moon in Virgo does square your sun, and it is going to illuminate a lot of details. If you have been trying to fudge a little bit on the details, this is when you would get caught. Also, the Sun and Neptune in Pisces are squaring your sun sign as well, and the sun is the other light. And so I think that you could be held accountable now for saying one thing and doing another, or perhaps not quite finishing a task, or if you have been saying that you have certain credentials that upon examination of details it proves that you don't have those credentials, then you could be in a little bit of trouble, Gemini. And so if people are telling you one thing and it sounds a little too good to be true, then that means it's not true. And so I wouldn't believe everything everybody's telling you right now, but if you have been fudging on anything, this is when you would have to account for that in one way or another, Gemini. So you should be very careful this week, and particularly be careful at what you say. Make sure you can back it up with facts. Okay, what does it mean to a Cancer? Well, Cancer, you may benefit right now from the fact that there more details will be apparent to people, and because that is true, they may discover what is broken or what vital links are hidden or who is a phony. And that is because that full moon in Virgo does sextile your Sun, Cancer, where you have Jupiter. And the Sun and Neptune in Pisces, which are opposing that full moon, actually are trining your Sun. So I think you might benefit if a phony is exposed or an imposter is exposed. You may also benefit from getting some sort of notice that the bank made an error in your favor, or upon accounting details and adding up things in preparation for getting your taxes ready, you may be delighted that you have more deductions than you thought. So I think it is going to sort of work out in your favor, Cancer, and that will be good. Not everything is going to work in your favor, but I think an exposure of additional facts or details is going to have a positive effect on you, which is good, because I think there are people who are going to have to go back and look at partnership or business or contract terms. They are subject to change or even cancellation right now, and that could pertain to you, Cancer, as well, because Mars is so strongly squaring your sun sign, so is Uranus, and Pluto is opposing it. So you're sort of not out of the woods as far as what's happening in other people's lives. You would be subject to credit drying up or financial conditions changing and perhaps diminishing. That could affect a contract as well. But on the whole, the exposure of more details probably is going to help you out in one way or another. Okay, what does it mean to a Leo? Well, Leo, this is simply a time with that full moon in Virgo right ahead of your sun sign that you can certainly see all of the facts or details about a health matter or an accounting matter, or you can certainly see sort of where you stand financially right now. And if you have to do any revision of your budget, it could be good, because that way you would be able to handle whatever resources you do have a little bit better. So I would go over the books very carefully right now, Leo. It doesn't mean that you'll be seeing bad news. It may be that you could be sort of pleased with how things add up right now. And if they do add up upon re-examination in a way that benefits you, then that could be because you have found out some additional information that can help you straighten out a matter. And I think you can do that, Leo. So that would be good, because it may allow you to start off in a new direction. It could be an unusual direction, but it could still benefit you because Uranus in Aries is trining your sun. So I think there is some gain for you from the exposure of a phony, or from finding out what's missing or what's broken right now, and realizing that by getting all the facts lined up, you could do something positive to resolve an issue. And that, I think, is entirely possible. Good luck. Okay, what does it mean to a Virgo? Well, Virgo, the full moon is in your sun sign. Lucky you. That means there's going to be an awful lot of light on you, Virgo. And people will be able to hold you accountable, either for your work performance or your mental attitude, or it can simply be that you have been very good at looking over the details, and you're the person that might have some answers to hidden information. Or you may be able to expose an imposter. Or if a phony is exposed, I think that you may be instrumental in one way or another with feeding information to people who can finally get the right answer about something. And so I think that that is a very positive thing right now. If, on the other hand, you have been fudging about anything, oh, it's going to be too late, Virgo, because whatever you have been saying or putting in writing could be checked right now and verified. And if it is upheld, that simply is going to be a feather in your cap. But if there are any discrepancies in a record, you would certainly be held accountable for that, and you would have to do something about it to rectify any errors or omissions. But I think that on the whole, management will be pleased with you. Or if you have not been following the rules, somebody could come along and say, hey, you've got to get in a little bit better alignment with the rules right now. And I think that you'd be able to do that successfully. So if there is a change, I think that you're going to go ahead and willingly do it. Okay, what does it mean to a Libra? Well, Libra, this is simply a time with that full moon in Virgo right behind your sun sign, when there can be a lot of light in the background of your life, and it can be centering on your health or on an accounting matter or on something that you have been steadily doing for a very long time and perhaps not getting any credit for it. It can just be something that you feel you should do in order to help other people. Well, now you might get credit for it, Libra, particularly if you have been very helpful in a sort of an attentive way to other people. Or it can be that you may have been training or teaching people without getting any credit for it, and now maybe you will, which is good. And it's good because Mars is retrograde in your sign, and that means that all contracts, whether they involve marriage or business or any kind of a contract, even a verbal agreement, is subject to change right now because that planet is retrograde. And when planets go retrograde, that is when you should go back and re-examine things. And so you really need to make sure that you do have everything lined up and accounted for, because if you don't, you're going to have to go back and I wouldn't assume that things are working out really well right now. I think that you should go back in order to make sure that you've got all your bases covered. And the reason why that's so important to you, Libra, is because Mercury and Venus are in Aquarius, two wonderful planets, and Aquarius rules the future, and they're trining Mars in your sign. So you've really got to make sure you've got all your book work down and everything adds up so that you can be free to go in a new direction. And you can be meeting very nice people that would want you to join them right now. So try to not miss out on any great opportunities, because your life can change for the better, Libra, particularly if you reach out and expand right now. Okay, what does it mean to a Scorpio? Well, Scorpio, this is a time when I think you're going to have a quiet smile on your face, and it is going to be a smile somewhat like the Mona Lisa, where you're smiling about something but nobody knows what, and it's because your sign does rule secrecy. And your sign has Saturn in it, and Saturn is retrograde right now, meaning that financial conditions have to be reviewed, and it can be in the light of contract terms that are changing. That's true for everyone. But because Jupiter in Cancer is trining your sun, and the Sun and Neptune in Pisces are trining your sun, and the full moon in Virgo is sextiling your sun, I think that you are going to be rather quiet but very observant about more details or facts that are now revealed and can show what is broken or can illuminate some missing link that people need to know about, or could expose a phony or an imposter. And if that happens, Scorpio, I think you're going to be smiling rather quietly and saying to yourself, oh, I knew it all along. And you probably have known for a very long time that someone has been pretending to be something they are not, or they could even have been saying they had credentials that they didn't really have, and therefore they're not qualified for something. I don't think you're going to make a big deal out of it, Scorpio. You may not say anything to anybody else, but if someone is exposed like that, I think it is not going to surprise you at all. Okay, what does it mean to a Sagittarius? Well, Sagittarius, Just like Gemini, you should not believe half of what you're being told. In fact, maybe not anything that you're being told right now, Sagittarius. And that is because the full moon in Virgo is squaring your sun, which means you are going to be held accountable for details or facts that you have already said were true, but upon verification, if they are not true or there are any omissions, you will be responsible for that and have to deal with that. And the Sun and Neptune in Pisces are also squaring your sun. And so if you've been fudging about something, you'll be accountable. But if somebody else has been fudging to you or lying or giving you a different impression or painting a very rosy picture about something and making promises without having any intention of keeping those promises, then that can affect you adversely as well, Sagittarius. So this is a time when you not only need to look before you leap. If I were you, I wouldn't do any leaping, because I don't think you can trust too many people right now, Sagittarius. Something is wrong, or something is broken, or something is hidden and does need to be exposed in order to get the whole truth about something. And in one way or another, you will be affected by that, Sagittarius. And so that is why I wouldn't make any new commitments right now, because there is something that is just not known or not true. And I think you are going to have to deal with that first. Good luck. Okay, what does it mean to a Capricorn? Well, Capricorn, that full moon in Virgo is trining your sun where you have Pluto, which is good, because that means that when somebody gets a very full look of details or a clear grasp of all of the facts, those could be quite helpful to you, Capricorn. And it is possible that once you get the whole truth about something, you will then be able to see what's missing or what is broken, or you will be able to see somebody who may have been misleading you or who is just a phony, and whatever they're saying isn't true, or whatever they are pretending to be, they are really not qualified to be. And so you would be able to see that as well. So this is a time to keep your feet on the ground, Capricorn, and just believe in the facts. And if the facts don't add up or they can't be verified, then I wouldn't listen to anyone's conversation. Don't go beyond that, Capricorn, because if somebody's trying to paint blue sky right now, that is not what you're interested in. You are only interested in verifiable facts, and those are available right now. And so that's good. That's what you should be searching for, because they could do you a world of good right now. If you've been looking for a missing answer, you may be able to find it now. Good luck. Okay, what does it mean to an Aquarian? Well, Aquarius, Venus and Mercury are in your sun sign. Lucky you. That makes you very popular, Aquarius, and you could want to be at your very charming best right now, which is wonderful. But not everyone is on your wavelength right now, and in fact, the Sun and Neptune are in Pisces right ahead of your sun sign, and they are strongly challenging that full moon in Virgo on Sunday. And so there is the possibility that something that has been well hidden could be exposed now. And so you might be in for a surprise, Aquarius, because somebody is not who they pretend to be, or because other people have been making promises that they don't intend to keep, something like that. Or you could learn the real truth about a situation, and that could sort of save the day for you right now, Aquarius. And that is because you are willing to go out and trust people, but this is not necessarily a good time to do that unless you have all the facts. So one way or another, the details or the facts are going to do you a lot of good, and they could straighten out some nebulous contract terms right now. Mars in Libra is trining your sun where you have Venus and Mercury. And so if the facts are exposed or a phony is exposed, that could change the terms in a financial contract or a legal contract or a partnership, and it could tend to benefit you, which would be good. You may not be even the person that's involved in the contract, but it would still benefit you as things change. And so good things can come to you now as long as the truth is exposed. Okay, what does it mean to a Pisces? Well, Pisces, The Sun and Neptune are in your sign, and they are being sorely challenged on Sunday by the full moon in Virgo. And that simply means, Pisces, that even though you have a lot of love and support around you, particularly from family members and friends, you are going to be held accountable for details right now. They can be related to work, since Virgo does rule work, but they can be related to health matters as well, because Virgo rules that too. And so if you have been a little bit nebulous or a little bit deceptive about some information, this is a time when you could get caught and or be held accountable for that in a way where you may even have to pay back some money, or you may have to pay a little higher interest rate on something. Or it can simply be that if you have thought that your taxes would be a little bit lower, you may get shocked because they could be higher instead of lower. So this is a time when you're going to have to be very, very careful and make sure that whatever you say or whatever you sign can be backed up. Because if it can't be backed up, then you will be the one that's going to have to pay for that, Pisces. So you do have to be extra careful right now. And if I were you, I would quit kidding myself about things, and particularly about health matters, and try to improve them if you can. All right, thanks so much for tuning in. Remember, you can see the show anytime you want on our website, starborninstitute.org, and you can subscribe on the website to have the show sent to you so that you can watch it at any time. See you next week. Bye.